The first season of Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches has already deviated quite dramatically from the book it's based on, with changes ranging from subtle to totally transformative. Set in the new immortal universe based off of Anne Rice's iconic work that began with 2022's Interview with a Vampire, Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches adapts the first tome of Rice's Mayfair Witches book trilogy, The Witching Hour. Showrunners Esther Spalding and Michelle Ashford has already taken some extreme liberties with the source material. At over 1,000 pages long, it's no wonder that an 8-episode series had to make such sweeping changes in their adaptation of the story. Just like in the book, the first season follows brilliant neurosurgeon Dr. Rowan Mayfair as she learns about her true heritage as a magical witch, born into the mysterious Mayfair clan of spellcasters. However, the first season has already created some dramatic differences from Anne Rice's original work by the time Season 2 of Mayfair Witches will release. 10. Michael Curry and Aaron Leitner become Cyprian Grieve. The show combines two book characters into one. Tongai Chirisa as Cyprian Grieve standing in a marina in Mayfair Witches. The most obvious and perhaps story-affecting change to The Witching Hour is easily the consolidation of two important characters into a single man to save time. Rowan's love interest in the novels is Michael Curry, a man who suffers from a near-death experience only to gain psychic abilities upon being revived. Guiding him in the politics of the Mayfair family is Aaron Leitner, an old Englishman who becomes something of a father figure to Rowan. In the show, both of these characters are combined into Cyprian Grieve, streamlining the story at the cost of conflating Rowan's love interest with her father figure. Born with Michael's magical powers, Cyprian is a member of the Order of the Talamasca, a shadowy organization tasked with keeping tabs on the various supernatural creatures in Anne Rice's world. Cyprian mixes business with pleasure when he falls for Rowan while assigned to investigate her and her family. 9. Cortland and Carlotta Mayfair are brother and sister. The family drama is kept much tighter. Harry Hamlin as Cortland sitting in a fancy chair in Mayfair Witches Season 1 Episode 8. Another big change when it comes to character relationships in the original story is the familial relationship between Cortland and Carlotta Mayfair. In The Witching Hour, Cortland and Carlotta are an entire generation apart, representing the different levels of power the Mayfair family has held over the ages. Esther Spalding's show, however, posits them as siblings no more than a few years apart, putting them much closer in terms of magical power and influence. Allegedly, this change was made in the spirit of narrative heft. As showrunner Michelle Ashford explains, you say brother or sister and immediately the audience has a visceral reaction, like oh, I know what that's like, via MovieWeb. This is a fair enough justification for making the discrepancy, but it does coincide with the series poising Carlotta into far more of an antagonistic role than she was in the original novel. 8. Alexandra Daddario looks nothing like Dr. Rowan. Rowan's look is altered pretty heavily. Alexandra Daddario from Mayfair Witches looking upward in black and white custom image by Safak Ural. Dr. Rowan is the latest TV character in the esteemed filmography of Alexandra Daddario, making for one of her most well-known roles yet. For whatever differences the first season of Mayfair Witches may have from the books, it's hard to argue that Daddario isn't great as the steely-minded Dr. Rowan Mayfair. However, one minor detail in the adaptation is the physical differences between the two women. In the books, Rowan is described as having platinum blonde hair and piercing grey eyes, a far cry from the brunette Alexandra Daddario with her bright baby blue peepers. In truth, this minor deviation doesn't have much effect on the story, but it is worth mentioning as a tell that the series wasn't overly concerned with staying faithful to the source material as far as character descriptions were concerned. The addition of Cyprian Grieve should be proof enough of that.